Okay, welcome back. Chef Bruce Brown of Bruce's Fabulous Foods in Marion joins us. What are we walking on?
We're going to start off a little tutorial here on shrimp. I'm doing a Thai dish today, a shrimp and chicken pad Thai, and something that a lot of people think the only place you can get it would be out at a restaurant, a Thai restaurant. But I'm going to give you a recipe where you can do it at home. But to start with, a lot of people are really intimidated by shrimp.
I like to eat shrimp, but I don't want to be involved in the preparation any way whatsoever.
I like to actually buy shrimp where the heads are still on the shrimp. The reason why is because, believe it or not, there's a pocket of fat right behind the back of the head of the shrimp, right back here, okay? Right back there, there's a pocket of fat on the shrimp that when you take the head off the shrimp and you take all the heads and put them in water with some onion and celery and stuff like that and boil it, that's where 90% of the flavor of the shrimp is at, believe it or not. So you can make a really good shrimp stock just with shrimp heads, which is really amazing stuff. But you don't see too many places around here anymore selling shrimp with the heads on.
Right.
Usually the heads are off, and a lot of times you'll see a shrimp where it has still, it still has the shell on it. And I want to show you how to peel and devein the shrimp. Now there are tools that you can buy and use that you just run right down the back of the shrimp, pop it off, takes it, but it doesn't always get all of the entrails is the good way to say it.
Okay.
So what I'm going to show you is this, how to do it with a paring knife. First of all, I always start at the bottom of the shrimp, and I just take the, like the little tentacles or legs off and just take the whole shell off. Make sure I have a bowl of cold water sitting right here with me. Because what I do then is I will take the shrimp, like where the head of the shrimp goes, take my paring knife, and just run a slit right down the back of the shrimp.
Okay.
Now, every once in a while, you will see a thin little tube that has sand and grit. And no, it's not shrimp poop like Katie thought it was. It's not shrimp poop.
I can't believe it's
But what that little tube is, shrimp are basically bottom feeders. They live near the bottom of the earth. They don't go swimming through the water. They live so this is the filter that takes the sand and the grit out of their diet and kind of like it siphons it through their system so that they don't have to digest it, stuff like that. So the thing is that then I just dip the shrimp down in the cold water, make sure to get all the internal stuff out, and put it in a bowl, and do that with each and every shrimp.
Or you could just buy them already
You can buy them peeled and deveined. Yes, you can. Now, the other thing is
it cheaper to do it this way?
Yes, usually it is, because if you think of having to pay somebody to peel and devein all the shrimp, that's one thing. But so you know how to do it at home yourself now. But the other thing is that if you do peel and eat shrimp where the shells are still on and the veins are still in there, don't worry about it. It's not that they're inedible. It's just that sometimes
it's less appetizing.
Yeah, exactly. You might get a little bit of a crunch. There are some veins where you'll see that there's nothing in them. That's even better. That's a bonus for you.
Welcome back. Chef Bruce Brown of Bruce's Fabulous Foods in Marion joins us.
Yay, Marion!
Yay, Marion, always. We have peeled and deveined the shrimp. You did that just for Katie.
Yeah, just
now we're moving on to something a little more pleasant.
Now, pad Thai, national dish of Thailand.
Yeah.
One of those things that you think, oh, I can only get this probably out in a Thai restaurant or something like that. No, you can make it at home as long as you have some of the right ingredients. I mean, and it's really not that difficult to make. You can do this. So, first of all, the first thing we have to do is we have to soak our rice noodles. Now, you will find rice noodles in the Oriental section of the grocery store. They're right here. They look like regular pasta, except a little bit more, almost like a bleached white instead of yellow. Rice noodles do not need to be cooked, per se, but you do need to take the rice noodles, put them in a bowl. I always like putting mine in a glass bowl, and pouring hot water over top of them. And letting them just sit in the hot water for 8 to 10 minutes. So I said, doesn't have to be boiling water, doesn't have to be super hot or anything like that. Just hot water. In fact, I have, at the restaurant, we have a tap that you can get hot water out of your coffee pot.
Oh, sure.
If you can run just a pot of water through your coffee pot without having the coffee ground stuff like that in it, that is the perfect temperature for hot water.
You don't want coffee-flavored noodles.
No, you don't want coffee-flavored, although it might not hurt.
Wouldn't be bad, yeah.
Now, I'm going to get Karen making the sauce for us, which we start off with 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of lime juice, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now, soy sauce, if you really want to be authentic and use fish sauce, you can use fish sauce, not a problem. But that's not quite as readily available as soy sauce. And a lot of people have soy sauce in their cupboard.
Oh, sure.
So you can use soy sauce. Then I have a chili paste or a chili sauce. This is an Oriental chili sauce, which is my favorite. It's called Sriracha, S-R-I-R-A-C-H-A. Say it with me, Sriracha.
Sriracha. I had a hard time with that earlier.
It's like a Thai or an Oriental or Vietnamese chili paste.
It smells
chili
good
sauce.
too, yeah.
It smells really good. I'm going to have just Karen lightly whisk that together. That's the sauce. So what we're doing is we're getting all these ingredients, all these things done up ahead of time, so that when we go to put together our pad thai, we will be ready for it. Now, the last thing we're going to do here in this segment is I have 2 eggs lightly beaten. Just lightly beaten. They're not really whipped up. I just did them with a fork in this, in the container there.
Okay.
I put about it in a hot wok, cold oil. I put about half a teaspoon of oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever kind of oil you really like, that works. I personally, for this dish, once in a while when I have it and I don't mind using it, I like sesame oil.
Ooh,
I think it just adds that little bit of flavor. But if you have vegetable oil at home, use vegetable oil. And I'm going to go ahead and just put the eggs right into the wok and get them kind of stirred around. What you want is, if possible, you want something a little bit larger and flatter, like a disc. You see, and the more that I kind of spread it out, the more it cooks, quicker it cooks. Don't have to worry about turning it or anything like that. Just make sure it gets dry on the top. And I will lay this out onto a mat, let it cool, and slice it up in little ribbons.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll have it ready to go for the rest of the ingredients, for the rest of the pad thai in our wok. We're walking today, and we're having fun. It's my form of exercise. There you go.
Awesome. Sounds like a good type of exercise. We'll be right back. Chef Bruce Brown of Bruce's Fabulous Foods, and Marion is back, and now we are cooking up the meat of the dish, aren't we?
Yep, that's right. We're going to get a couple more ingredients of the pad thai. The wok will do a lot of different jobs and a lot of different things for you. As long as you do them in kind of like in the right order, you'll end up with a great final product. So now, once again, I have the wok heated up probably somewhere between 375 and 400 degrees.
Okay.
I'm going to put in just a touch, about a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half of oil. And I'm going to start with the chicken. Now, I've taken 1 pound of boneless chicken breast,
all right,
laid them out flat, kind of made them, pound them out a little bit thinner if necessary on a thick end, and cut them into strips. And but you always start with the chicken first. Chicken, well, because the chicken will actually take longer to cook than the shrimp.
Makes sense.
So, but what we're going to do is we're going to actually get these items cooked off first in the wok, and then take them out and add them into the dish later. So as you can see, I've got them in these little strips. You can cut them into thinner strips if you like. I have our shrimp, which is, now this is 8 ounces. Actually, I said a pound before.
Yeah.
This is actually about 8 ounces of chicken, because we also have the 8 ounces of shrimp that we peeled and deveined earlier.
So as long as you have a pound of some kind of meat at work?
That's the way that I usually do it, yeah. And there are some people that, I mean, they do pork pad thai, they'll do beef pad thai. I personally, there's something to me about shrimp and seafood in my pad thai. I think really gives it the best. But I'm that way with anything stir-fried. I can't help it. I think shrimp really gives it the best flavor. Now, once the chicken really gets cooking here, and you see it's starting to brown up on
really
the edges.
Quickly,
It doesn't take long. I'm going to dump in the shrimp, because you don't want the shrimp to overcook.
Oh, no.
So it just, now the shrimp, we're going to keep this all in here together just until the shrimp are starting to turn pink. And that's when we will take it out of the pan and start with some of the vegetables and some of the other items.
So this happens pretty quickly for the shrimp.
Yes, it really can. And if your pan starts to get a little bit dry, it's not a problem to put maybe a tablespoon of water in there or 2, because what you can actually do is you can actually kind of like stir fry and steam at the same time, so you can smell it already, can't you?
Oh, yeah, and it smells really good.
But if you put in just that little bit of water, put the lid on the wok, it's going to cook it a little bit quicker. It'll steam it from the inside out.
Okay.
And it'll work even better for you. So we're going to give it just a moment here. Take up. See, I'm one of these people, and I'm always like, why do they call it stir fry? Well, of course, I like to continually stir it and keep it moving through.
Oh, sure.
It doesn't let any one spot of any of the meat or anything like that get overly browned or overly caramelized or overly cooked.
And meanwhile, we have a whole lot of things that we're going to be adding right here in the wok.
Yes, exactly.
Vegetables
There we go.
and tofu.
Nice. If you see, the shrimp is really, it might not be all the way done, but we're going to finish it off when we add it into the final dish. So we're just going to go on ahead, and the easy way to do this, in my opinion, is take the wok and dump it right out like this.
Oh, that looks good. It smells even better.
You just go from there.
Okay,
We're going to plug it back in.
And we're going to add our next round, and we'll show that to you coming up a little bit later.
Coming up, all the vegetables and the rice noodles have been soaking.
Stay with us.
I started when I could get my hands up and over the oven. I'm the youngest of 6. The older kids got all the cool jobs like setting the dinner table or dusting the end table stuff. I'm the one that got stuck in the kitchen with mom.
Well, I started whenever we started this show.
Oh, that's
Actually, this morning. What am I saying? We are making shrimp and chicken pad thai.
Shrimp and chicken pad thai. It's time to start throwing it all together. So I now have just about another teaspoon of oil in the hot wok, a very hot wok. And I put in tofu. Now, some people would say you want like planks tofu. Everybody does their tofu.
No, I like it when it's like cubed like this.
I like it in cubes, and I've got it so that it's starting to brown. Tofu is a great source of protein, and it will really start flavoring whatever you add to it. Now we got in there just about a third of an inch to a half-inch cube, and it's about a 12-ounce package of tofu. You can get it at the grocery stores now, believe it or not. To this, I'm going to add a cup of shredded carrots, a cup of whites of green onions. You know, the scallions, the green onions buy in the grocery store? You want just the whites. We're going to stir fry all those in together with all this. They add a little onion flavor. And about a tablespoon of minced garlic. Now, if you smash your garlic first, then mince it, that's fine. But you don't want to add the garlic too early because in a wok, garlic will most assuredly start to burn.
Okay, because it's so hot or what?
Not because it's so hot. And if you start having burnt, blackened garlic in your dish, it really alters the flavor of everything else. So you want just enough garlic just to start,
Ooh,
you know.
I can smell that already.
Yeah, smell it right here. Once we get all this in here, just like this, you let all the vegetables start to soften up. We're going to add in the noodles.
I said I love these noodles. They're so good.
Rice noodles, as I said, and please understand, Katie doesn't do a lot of cooking, but anytime...
Wait, please understand Katie doesn't do any cooking.
But when she can take a package of rice noodles and just put hot water on it, I mean, that's a Katie dish right there.
Very true.
We're gonna put the rice noodles in there and the eggs. Remember the egg that we stir fried earlier? All we did with that egg was we let it cool, and once it cooled, we rolled it up into a tube and then cut it into little ribbons, just like this.
This looks so good and so healthy.
Already, it's already starting to really take on some of the flavors. The rice noodles will absorb the flavor along with the tofu of all the carrots and the onions. Now, remember the sauce that we had Karen make earlier, made of soy sauce, brown sugar, the sriracha chili sauce, and the lime juice. We're going to start pouring that in there. I like to pour a lot of mine in. I save just a little bit for the very end, just in case. This is going to flavor, it's going to color the noodles and the tofu, but it's going to start absorbing all this flavor. Look at this. I mean, it's just
this looks so good.
Colorful.
How long should you keep this stuff in the wok?
I do it so that it's long enough that it's heated through, because everything that by now is already cooked. And then at the very end, you add your chicken and your shrimp into it and mix it through. And when we come up for the final episode, I'm going to show you how we go on ahead and we garnish it with a bunch of more vegetables on a platter to serve everybody like a family meal.
Okay, we're wrapping it up. Chef Bruce Brown of Bruce's Fabulous Foods in Marion is putting the finishing touches on our pad thai.
So we've got some bean sprouts. I've got the pad thai in a nice display bowl here. Bean sprouts on top. Let's top it off with some green onions, just like this. And some, believe it or not, chopped up peanuts. Salted, roasted peanuts. That's all you need out of life for peanuts in your pad thai.
Of course.
And for me, just because I like a little sliced up julienne of jalapeno pepper.
Okay.
And fresh cilantro.
And if you want to check out this recipe, go to WLOS.com and click on Carolina Kitchen. A good day to enjoy some food outdoors, right, Karen?
Oh, yeah, we're feeling the heat later on today. In fact, a taste of summer, 80 for that high today, mostly sunny in much of the region. Enjoy that.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. GMA is next here on News 13. For more local news and weather, check us out online at WLOS.com.